from Sarah Loves to Sew. So today I'm going to explain and show you how to make one of these drawstring makeup bags. So these, I'm sure you've seen them, are really handy, lovely designs where you can hang up your bag with all your makeup in it, but then when you open it up, it opens out into a mat so you can find. I'll post a little video of what I mean. So we're going to make it today. If you've got one of my kits, you'll have everything you need in there to make it. But basically you'll need your water resistant fabric for the outer and the inner. You'll need some strong cord for the drawstring, and I've also got cord stoppers on this one. You'll need some Velcro, you'll need some bias binding for the edging, and some more fabric of the outer for the handles, and this lovely closing flap that goes over the top. So, you ready? Let's get started. So here we have the drawstring bag. Open the flap, undo the drawstring, and then you can open up so it folds out into a mat, so you can actually find your makeup and individual pieces. And when you're done, you can just close it up again and then pull the toggles down. You can close it as tight as you like. Pull the toggles down, tie the cord out of the way. I normally just do a bow, and then you can either tuck the strings inside or just pile them up and then close it with a little Velcro fastening on the top. And then your bag is ready to be hung up to keep it out of the way. So let's make this. If you open your kit, you'll find all the things you need. So first of all, you get the two rectangles that are the same size. These are going to form the flap that goes over the closure. So pin those together, right sides together. And then we're just going to round off the end. So I find that if you fold it, you get even symmetrical corners. So you just snip around corner and then open out your rectangles again. So we're going to sew these two pieces together, but we're going to leave a gap of about 3 inches or so just to turn it out. So you need to take that to the machine and sew all the way along the edge, around the corners, along the length at the side and back to the stop, and then you do your back tack at the beginning and the start. So this is what it should look like. This is the flap. So just set that aside and get the two big pieces of fabric out. So you'll have an outer and a lining. So at the moment they're sort of pretty square shaped, so you need to fold them in half and then fold them in half again to get a centre point. And this is just one way of drawing a circle. We're basically going to draw a circle approximately 18.5 inches. So how I do that is I get the middle point by folding it, and then I take a ruler and I just half the diameter of what I want. So radius of 9.25 inches. And I mark it, so I keep that point going through the middle and I mark it to either sides. And then I just move the ruler around, making sure that the centre point is on that 9.25, make some more marks. And I gradually keep doing this, moving it around until I get enough marks that I can then draw a circle on. So here I am lining it up, and once I've done this, just checking my measurements, once you've done them all the way around, you can then start sort of joining the dots and basically drawing your circle. So you can mark it, this is a fabric pen that I'm using, mark it all the way around and then pin the pieces together and cut the two circles out. I only pin them together to stop them slipping so that you get good circles. So here we go, put a pin in. I think I put four pins in or so, and then cut out the circles. And these are going to be the basis of our drawstring bag. If there's another way you want to cut a circle, do that, but that was just one way that I thought was quite an easy one to do, providing you've got a ruler or measuring tape. So put the circles aside and get out the thin long rectangle, which is going to be the handle. Fold it in half, press it. If you don't want to press it with an iron, you can just press it with your thumbnail, which is probably better on the coated cotton. So you just fold it in half, open it up, and then fold the long ends edges into the middle again, like we've done on several of my other projects to make handles. You fold it into the middle and then close it up, and we're going to pin that and then sew down both of the long sides, and this will give us a really nice neat handle with no raw edges. And this is what we'll be sewing onto the bag a bit later on. But once you've sewn these two edges, you're going to just put this handle to the side until a bit later. So we're just getting all our pieces up and running together. So sew along one, just in your normal 2.5 stitch length, and then sew along the other side to make it nice and neat as well. Okay, next get your circles, and this time you want to fold them in half so that we can mark our halfway marks. So fold them in half, and then with the scissors just snip a tiny little corner off, a little triangle, and that will just mark where the centre of the circles are. And you want to do this for both of the circles, and this will just help us line it all up when we're going to make the bag. So we've got those marked out, and do exactly the same with the outer circle. So we're just going to snip the corners. Don't have to be big. It's like the notches in dressmaking when you're cutting out pieces. It's just really helpful that you've got those little markers. So once you've done that, we're going to start constructing the bag. So get your lining back and get your piece of binding. Now you want to unravel it so it's nice and flat. Fold over the end, and this will give us a nice edge so that we don't have a raw edge, and fold it again. And this will form the channel for our cord. So we're not going to use the bias like it's folded. We're going to unfold it, do the hem, pin it right at the start of that marker that we've just created. And then you want to pin it all the way around, making sure that the two edges of the binding, because it's folded in half, in line with the edge of the circle. And I want you to keep pinning or clipping the binding all the way around the edge until you get just before, about a couple of inches before the other halfway mark. And then I want you to cut the length of the bias just 1/4 of an inch over the half mark. And then we'll fold over the hem as we did at the beginning, so that's 1/4 of an inch hem over, and then we will just repeat that same process for the rest of the other half, so that we'll have two tracks butting up against each other for the cord to go through. So once you've done that, put that aside, and now we're going to start sewing the flap onto the outside. So do it so that it's roughly about 3 inches off the edge there, and then sew that in place. So we've gone back to this now. You've sewn your flap on. I've done it with 2 rows down there. So you get your lining with the binding facing up and place the outside face down. So we've got right sides together. So we want to keep the flap inside, as all the binding needs to be as well. And you line up your marks and start pinning the outside to the lining. So it's the same basic principle. You line up all the raw edges all the way around and just line up those marks there. And we're going to sew all the way around, again just leaving a sort of press a foot's width from the edge. But this time we will leave a gap to turn the bag the right way round. So just mark it on there so you don't forget. It's about 4 inches, just so that you can put the bag through. So when you see your mark, you should just back tack at the start and then again at that side. And then once you finish sewing, we can turn it round the right way. And sew up the gap. Here it is. I've turned it round the right way and I've laid it with the top side down. And I'm just tying a knot in the end of the cord to put the safety pin through. If you don't tie the knot, the cord just unravels. So clip the safety pin on, and then you're just going to go in one of the entrances and thread it all the way around that track. So you'll be threading through one track, and then you'll see that there's the gap halfway, but you keep on going all the way round the second track as well and come out at the hole near the start. So once you've you just slip the safety pin all the way around, keep going all the way around until you end up at the end. And then you'll need the toggle, one of the toggles. So you cut the cord at the end, and then I think your cord will just be cut. So you basically put your toggle on the ends and then tie a knot. And then we do the other side. So it's exactly the same, but this time we want the toggle on the other side. So that would work as one drawstring, but this is designed for two, so you can just pull them and the bag closes. So we're going to start at the other end this time, and same principle, tie a knot in your thread, in your cord, safety pin to pull it round and finish on the other side. Once you've done that, you'll have your toggles on both sides. So there we go, that's the drawstring aspect all done. So the last thing to do is just to attach the handle. So I've folded over the edges. You can fold them over twice if you don't want raw edge, and then I sew them in. I sew a little rectangle with a cross through it, just so that it's nice and secure, and sew it down sort of about 1 centimetre of the handle down, like here, and do that on both sides. And that's in place. So last touch, the Velcro. So just pin it in place and then double check where you want it to attach to, check it's the right length for you, and then simply pin the 2 pieces of Velcro in place and sew around the edge. So this is 1 piece of Velcro that you get in the box, and you just snip it in 2. And there we go, well done, drawstring bag complete.
Keep it low key, keep it softly spoken, with no strings tying you to me. I'm happy in your company.